There is a land in the far north of our world, a place where the raw, elemental power of nature remains sovereign. This is Norway, a realm sculpted by ice and time, where colossal fjords cleave the earth and mountains claw at the sky. It is here that the indomitable spirit of the Vikings was forged. A spirit that seems to linger in the very air, whispering through ancient forests and across the windswept plateaus. This is not merely a landscape. It is a living saga, a tapestry woven from stone, water, and legend. The mystical aura of this country is palpable. It presents a wild, untamed face to the world, yet within its dramatic contours lies a profound sense of peace and a surprisingly welcoming embrace. To journey through Norway is to witness nature at its most theatrical, from the emerald glow of the northern lights dancing in the winter sky to the relentless light of the midnight sun in summer. It is an experience that imprints itself upon the soul, leaving a lasting impression on all who answer its call. The sheer scale and beauty can be overwhelming, a humbling reminder of our planet's enduring majesty. For many, the most iconic sights are just the beginning of the story. Beyond the well-trodden paths lie secrets, wonders known only to the most determined explorers. Today, we venture into Norway's most mesmerizing places, reaching even the most hidden and inaccessible spots. We will journey from the depths of its most famous fjords to the perilous heights of its mountain peaks, seeking to understand the forces that have shaped this extraordinary corner of the earth and the life that clings to its rugged heart. Our journey begins here, in what many consider the definitive Norwegian fjord, Geiranger Fjord. A UNESCO World Heritage Site, it is a masterpiece of glacial artistry. For millennia, immense rivers of ice ground their way through this landscape, carving a deep serpentine channel flanked by almost vertical mountain walls that soar up to 1,500 meters. The result is a scene of almost overwhelming grandeur, a place where water, rock, and sky meet in perfect dramatic harmony. It is a world born of immense power, yet it cradles a surprising delicacy within its embrace. Dotted along its precipitous slopes are tiny, abandoned farms clinging to ledges that seem impossibly high. These are testaments to the tenacity of human life, of families who once eked out a living in this vertical world. But the fjord's most famous residents are its waterfalls. Cascading down the cliffs are countless streams, but none are more celebrated than the Seven Sisters. Here, 7 distinct torrents of water plunge into the fjord below, a breathtaking spectacle of nature's relentless, life-giving cycle. Across the water, a single powerful cascade known as the Suder watches them, forever separated by the vastness of the fjord. From the deep waters of the fjord, we now ascend into the mountains, to a triumph of human engineering in the face of nature's challenges, Trollstigen, the Troll's Ladder. This magnificent mountain road is a marvel, twisting and turning its way up a sheer mountainside with 11 hairpin bends. Each curve was blasted from solid rock, a monumental undertaking that took 8 years to complete. It stands as a powerful symbol of the Norwegian will to connect even the most remote communities, to conquer the seemingly impassable. The road is a seasonal creature, open only during the brief summer months, when the immense winter snows have finally retreated. To drive it is an experience in itself, a slow, deliberate climb that reveals ever more spectacular views with each turn. Halfway up its ascent, a stone bridge carries the road directly across the path of the mighty Stigfossen waterfall, which thunders 320 meters down the mountainside. Here, one can feel the raw power of the water, its spray misting the air, a constant, roaring reminder of the forces that dominate this high-altitude world. We travel south to another of Norway's iconic fjords, Lysefjord, the Fjord of Light. Its name is derived from the pale granite cliffs that line its 42-kilometer length, stone-polished smooth by ancient glaciers. On a bright day, these cliffs reflect the sunlight, illuminating the deep waters and creating a spectacle of stark, luminous beauty. This is a fjord of dramatic, clean lines and breathtaking drops, a place of geological superlatives that has become a pilgrimage site for adventurers from around the globe. High above the water, two geological wonders command attention. The first is Preikestolen, or the Pulpit Rock, a vast, flat-topped cliff that juts out from the mountainside, suspended 604 meters above the fjord. Its sheer drop is both terrifying and exhilarating. Further into the fjord lies a different kind of marvel, the Kjeragbolten. It is a giant boulder, a 5 cubic meter stone wedged immovably in a mountain crevasse, 1,000 meters above the abyss. And for those who prefer to keep their wheels on the ground, the Lysevigen Road offers its own thrills, with 27 hairpin bends snaking down into the valley. Water is, really the lifeblood of the Norwegian landscape, and nowhere is its relentless journey more beautifully displayed than at Langfossen. Unlike many of its famous siblings which plunge in a single, sheer drop, Langfossen is a cascade. It tumbles and roars down a vast mountainside for an unbroken 612 meters, a wide, frothing torrent of white water against dark rock. Its name is simple and descriptive: the Long Waterfall. It is a continuous, powerful display, a river falling from the sky. One of Langfossen's most appealing qualities is its accessibility. The main European route E134 passes directly by its base, with a small car park allowing travelers to stop and witness its grandeur up close. There is no long hike required, no barrier to its appreciation, and, unlike many mountain falls that diminish in winter, Langfossen flows with impressive force year-round, its thunderous roar a constant presence in the Okrafjord. To stand at its base is to feel the ground vibrate with its power, a testament to the immense volume of water moving from the high plateau to the fjord below. Moving inland, we discover a different kind of aquatic beauty. This is the Lake Lovatnet, a body of water so vividly colored it appears almost unreal. Its breathtaking turquoise hue is not a trick of the light, but a direct consequence of its glacial origins. The surrounding glaciers, including the mighty Jostedalsbreen, are constantly grinding away at the bedrock. This process produces a fine powder of rock particles, known as glacial silt, which is carried by meltwater rivers into the lake. These tiny particles remain suspended in the water, reflecting the sunlight in a way that creates this extraordinary opaque blue-green color. The lake is a place of serene, almost ethereal beauty, but it holds a tragic history. The steep mountainsides that give it such a dramatic setting have also been the source of devastating rockfalls, which caused massive tsunamis in the lake, wiping out local farming communities. Nearby, the equally stunning Olde Vatnet shares this glacial heritage, offering another vision of this unique and beautiful geological phenomenon, a reminder that even in stillness, the landscape is in a constant state of creation. We now journey far to the north, above the Arctic Circle, to an archipelago that seems to have risen from a fantasy novel, the Lofoten Islands. Here, jagged peaks of granite and volcanic rock erupt directly from the ocean, their sharp profiles softened only by the mists and the ever-changing northern light. These mountains are ancient, among the oldest rocks in Europe, weathered by eons of wind and ice into their dramatic forms. This is a landscape at its most primal, a place where the boundary between land and sea is constantly being redefined. Nestled at the foot of these colossal peaks are picturesque fishing villages, their iconic red roorboer cabins built on stilts over the water. For over 1,000 years, life here has revolved around the sea, particularly the annual cod migration. Villages like Hamnøy and Rein are jewels of human settlement against a backdrop of raw nature. For the adventurous, the climb up Reinebringen offers one of the most iconic views in all of Norway, a panorama of fjords and peaks. And in a testament to the local passion, a perfectly manicured football field sits in the village of Henningsvær, an astonishing patch of green surrounded by bare rock and the cold sea. High in the mountains of Vestland County, a unique geological formation beckons the bold. This is Trolltunga, the Troll's Tongue. It's a sliver of rock honed to a point that juts horizontally out from a sheer cliff face, suspended 700 meters above the shimmering waters of Lake Ringdalsvatnet below. The name is perfectly apt. It really does look as if some colossal creature of folklore has stuck its tongue out at the world, a gesture of defiance against the sky. This extraordinary ledge is a product of the last ice age. A glacier that filled this valley froze into a deep crack in the mountainside. As the climate warmed and the glacier retreated, it ripped a huge angular block of rock away with it, leaving this thin sliver behind. The hike to reach it is long and arduous, honestly a full day's trek through challenging high mountain terrain. But for those who make the journey, the reward is an unparalleled sense of exposure and a view that's simply unforgettable. A chance to stand on the very edge of the world. We now retreat from the dramatic coastal edges into the vast interior to Reinheimen National Park. The name means home of the reindeer, and it's a fitting title for one of Europe's last great wildernesses. This is a vast, largely untouched landscape of high plateaus, jagged peaks, and deep, silent valleys. It's a place where nature still dictates the terms, a wild heartland that's remained largely free from modern intrusion. Here, you can walk for days without seeing another soul, experiencing a profound sense of solitude and connection to the primeval world. For thousands of years, this has been a crucial hunting ground for wild reindeer, and archaeological evidence of ancient trapping systems can still be found. Testament to a long and intimate relationship between humans and the herds. Today, the park is a sanctuary for a unique population of wild reindeer, as well as wolverines and golden eagles. It's a fragile ecosystem, carefully protected. Crossing the dramatic Romsdalen Valley, which cuts through the park, is the Killing Bridge, a magnificent stone railway bridge that seems to blend into the landscape. A rare and beautiful example of human construction, in harmony with its wild surroundings. The power of Norway's landscape is not confined to its mountains and waterfalls. Here, at Saltstraumen, just south of the city of Bodø, the ocean itself puts on a display of awesome, honestly a bit terrifying force. This narrow strait connects the outer Saltfjord with the large Skistad fjord. And with every changing tide, an immense volume of water, some 400 million cubic meters, is forced through this 3-kilometer-long, 150-meter-wide channel. This creates the world's most powerful tidal current. The result of this colossal movement of water is the formation of maelstroms, or marine whirlpools, that can be up to 10 meters in diameter and 5 meters deep. The sea boils and churns, a chaotic churning vortex of power. This spectacle occurs with predictable regularity, 4 times a day, as the tide flows in and out. The sheer velocity of the water, reaching speeds of up to 40 kilometers per hour, is honestly astonishing. This turbulent water is also incredibly rich in nutrients, making Saltstraumen a legendary fishing spot, attracting vast schools of fish and, in turn, the fishermen who seek them. Hidden away in the Vesterålen archipelago, north of Lofoten, lies a fjord that is as famous for its history as for its geography. This is Trollfjord. It is remarkably narrow, only 100 meters wide at its mouth, and it cuts 2 kilometers into the heart of the island of Austvågøya. Sheer, dark cliffs rise directly from the water, giving the entrance a secretive, almost intimidating appearance. To sail into it feels like entering a hidden world, a secret passage into the core of the mountain. Its isolation and narrowness made it the stage for a dramatic event in 1890, known as the Battle of Trollfjord. The new, large, steam-powered fishing vessels had blocked the entrance to the fjord, preventing the traditional fishermen in their smaller open boats from accessing the cod-rich waters within. The conflict that ensued became a symbol of the struggle between small-scale tradition and industrial modernity, and it was immortalized in a famous painting. Today, cruising through its dramatic, narrow passage is a peaceful experience, but the echoes of that historic battle still resonate between its towering walls. In the Romstellen Valley, a sheer wall of rock stands as one of the great challenges in the world of mountaineering. This is Trollveggen, the Troll Wall, the tallest vertical rock face in Europe. It soars for 1,100 meters from its base to its summit, a staggering precipice of jagged, crumbling rock. Its north face, shrouded in shadow for much of the day, presents a formidable and intimidating sight. Legend says it was formed when trolls who had stayed out past sunrise were turned to stone, their colossal forms forever frozen in the mountainside. The wall is a complex and dangerous mixture of vertical and overhanging sections, and it has been the scene of both legendary ascents and tragic accidents in the climbing and base jumping communities. The first ascent took a team of Norwegian and British climbers 14 days in 1965, a landmark achievement. Looking up at its immense scale from the valley floor, one can appreciate the sheer audacity of those who attempt to conquer it. It is a monument to the vertical world, a place that tests the very limits of human courage and endurance against the uncompromising reality of the mountain. Our journey takes us to the very top of Europe, to Nordkapp, the North Cape. This is a place of profound significance, a monumental cliff rising 307 meters from the sea, long considered the northernmost point of the European mainland. It is here that the cold waters of the Atlantic Ocean meet the even colder waters of the Arctic Ocean, a symbolic meeting point at the edge of the known world. For centuries, explorers and travelers have made the long pilgrimage here, to stand on this precipice and gaze out at the endless, empty sea. An iconic steel globe sculpture marks the spot, a gathering point for visitors from all corners of the planet, who come to witness the midnight sun in summer, or brave the polar nights and hunt for the aurora in winter. The surrounding landscape is stark and treeless, a windswept tundra that is home to the indigenous Sami people and their herds of reindeer. To see the reindeer grazing freely against the backdrop of the Arctic Ocean is to witness a scene that has remained unchanged for centuries, a connection to the ancient, nomadic rhythms of the far north. For our final destination, we leave the mainland entirely and venture deep into the Arctic Ocean, to the archipelago of Svalbard. This is a world of ice and rock, situated halfway between Norway and the North Pole. It is a land of extremes, where for 4 months of the year the sun never sets, and for 4 months it never rises. More than 60% of its landmass is protected, consisting of national parks and nature reserves, making it one of the last great, largely untouched wilderness areas on Earth. This is the realm of the polar bear, the undisputed king of the Arctic. The population of bears here outnumbers the human inhabitants. They roam the sea ice and the barren shores in a constant search for food. The islands are also home to vast colonies of walruses, their huge forms huddled together on the beaches, and a unique, diminutive subspecies of reindeer, perfectly adapted to the harsh conditions. To visit Svalbard is to feel like a guest in nature's kingdom, a privileged observer of a fragile, magnificent ecosystem that exists on the very edge of possibility. Our journey through Norway comes to an end, but the impressions of this extraordinary land will endure. From the abyssal depths of its fjords to the frozen frontiers of the high Arctic, we have witnessed a country defined by the immense power of nature. It is a place where every mountain, waterfall, and island tells a story, a geological epic of ice and fire, and a human saga of resilience, exploration, and a deep, abiding respect for the wild. Here, ancient legends of trolls and giants do not feel like fantasy, but rather like attempts to explain a landscape that is itself mythical in scale. Norway is more than just a destination. It is an experience that challenges, inspires, and ultimately changes you. The sheer untamed beauty of places like Trolltunga and the Lofoten Islands, the raw power of Saltstraumen, and the profound solitude of Rheinheimen create memories that are etched not just in the mind, but in the spirit. It serves as a powerful reminder of what our planet can be when its natural forces are left to reign supreme. A world of breathtaking wonder and humbling majesty that still exists for us to discover. The sagas of this land are not finished. They are being written every day in the calving of a glacier, the journey of a reindeer, and in the footsteps of those who come to see it for themselves. We encourage you to explore these mesmerizing places, to find your own path through the fjords and over the mountains. For in the heart of Norway, between the whispers of the Viking spirit and the roar of the waterfall, lies an adventure that is waiting to become your own. Go and discover it.